Welcome to this Prepare for IELTS video in which we're going through a model answer to an IELTS Writing Task 2 question on the subject of cities and where people live. Let's take a look at this problems and solutions question. Large cities tend to be extremely noisy. This noise can make life difficult for those living there. What are the causes of noise pollution in cities and what could be done to reduce this problem? Let's have a look at our model answer with some great language which will impress the examiner. And we're starting out with the present perfect, and to be honest, perfect tenses always impress examiners, and we often use the present perfect, here has become, when we are referring to an incomplete or unfinished time period which started in the past, and usually you indicate that through an adverbial phrase like over the past few decades or recently, in recent times, since the end of the 20th century, for the last few years. So learning some of these phrases which naturally go with present perfect tenses can really improve your grammar grade. Residents are people who live in a particular place or area, so good to know lots of words to describe people in their different roles. Quality of life is the level of enjoyment, happiness, comfort, or health which a person has in their life. Important not to get this confused with standard of living, which is about your economic state. If you put something forward, you might put forward a suggestion. You state an idea or an opinion so that other people can consider it. So in essays, in problem and solution essays, you usually put forward possible solutions. Excessive means too much. Built-up areas contain lots of buildings, so are usually in cities. So if you're trying to avoid repeating the word cities and you've already used urban areas, then you can refer to built-up areas. A contributory factor is one of several things often which causes something to happen or influences a result. So a very useful phrase because something often causes or results in something else, so it can be a contributory factor. If you disturb other people, then you interrupt what they are doing, or you do something to stop them from concentrating on what they are doing. If you stay in a hotel room, you may have a do not disturb sign which you can put on the door so that nobody bothers you. To blast out loud music means to play music very loudly in a way which probably disturbs or annoys other people. And to attract attention, to attract somebody's attention, such as the attention of potential customers, means to do something which makes another person notice you or focus on you. We use the present perfect here to describe past actions and events with a result in the present. So in this case we are saying that it seems that many of us have become selfish and inconsiderate. We're not saying exactly when this happened. It happened at some time in the past, but the result is obvious to us now. It definitely has happened. If a person is selfish and inconsiderate, then they put their own needs first and they never consider the needs of other people. We can start a sentence with and a noun phrase, and this is an alternative to an if clause. So let's have a look at this example. With sufficient willpower, governments could tackle this problem. And we could rewrite this as if governments had sufficient willpower, they could tackle this problem. Using this phrase with a preposition actually makes more sense and seems more formal. Willpower is the ability or the strength to control your own thoughts and actions. If you smoke cigarettes and you want to stop, you are going to need willpower. And to tackle means to try to deal with a problem or difficult situation. So a great verb for IELTS essays on problems and solutions. You can tackle a problem or a difficulty. Governments pass laws when they bring in or introduce new rules or legislation which people have to follow or obey. And again, when you're writing about solutions, you very often want to write about laws which the government will pass. And we can use modals with actives and especially with passive verbs to make your writing seem formal. So here we have modals ought to and might and could, and you can see that ought to be passed and could be fined are both used with passives, and might work and may make are used with active verbs. Passives with modals are especially good. They make writing seem very formal. Car manufacturers are companies which produce or make cars or vehicles, usually in factories using machines. And to fine means to make somebody pay money as a punishment for not obeying rules or the laws. So if you're driving a car and the police stop you for speeding, they may fine you or may issue a fine. An awareness-raising campaign is a group of organized activities with the aim of making the public understand an important issue. So again, when you're looking at solutions to problems, awareness-raising campaigns are a great idea, something that you can definitely write about. Members of the public are ordinary, normal people. So again, a phrase that can be useful in many essays. If something has a detrimental effect, its result is negative and it may cause harm or damage. So another really useful phrase. Moving on to the conclusion, to mar means to spoil something, making it less enjoyable, less good, or less pleasant. Using modals with passive forms can make your writing seem more formal, as we've already seen. So must be taken, could or should be implemented. These are modals, must, could and should, and they're followed by passives. If you take something seriously, you accept or you realize that it is important and that you need to pay attention to it. So again, in questions about problems and solutions, we often want to say that we need to take this issue very seriously. If a government or other organization implements policies, then it puts plans into action after officially agreeing that they are a good idea. So again, a very good strategy, a very good thing to write about in solution essays. To minimize means to make something smaller, to reduce something to its smallest possible size. And if you have a fervent hope, then you have a very strong wish that something will happen, a feeling of really wanting something very much. So if you are expressing a wish at the end of your conclusion, this is a nice phrase to use. If a government brings in legislation, then it passes new laws, usually through Parliament. So we already used the phrase to pass laws, and now we're using the probably better phrase to bring in legislation. And this is great because you're showing the examiner that you are not repeating, and also that you know two great ways of referring to the process whereby new laws come into force. And we can use in order to, and this refers to an aim or purpose. So you can see in blue what is being done, and you can then see after in order to the reason. So the purpose, why. The reason is to improve the lives of all those affected. And we can use those with a past or present participle to refer to a special group, a specific group of people. So the lives of all those who have been affected, but you don't need to include who have been. Or you may say, we want to contact all those involved, all those who are involved. But again, you can take out the relative pronoun who and the verb to be. So this is a nice way of writing. It's also formal. Usually, the more words you can take out of a phrase, the more formal it is. Here is the model answer. You might want to stop and have a good read through it now that you understand how good it is and what strength it's got. But before you have a go at writing it yourself, why not take our quiz? Have you learnt some of the key language? Multiple choice. The level of enjoyment, happiness, comfort, or health which a person has is called the... And of course, we told you not to get this mixed up with the other answer, standard of living, because the right answer is quality of life. Your life expectancy is how long you are expected to live. And obviously, work-life balance is the idea that you are able to spend as much time not working as working. Can you have a good work-life balance? Can you make sure that you are not at the office or in the factory all of your life? Next question. I believe that the government should bring in something. Changing the law is the only way to deal with this issue. What should the government bring in? Obviously, legislation. This is a great phrase for problem and solution essays. This essay will examine reasons for this unwelcome development and put suggestions for dealing with it. So we want a word meaning propose to put forward. Stores often play very loud music in an attempt to the attention of potential customers. What do they want to do? They want to get customers to notice. They want to attract their attention. If you have enough and determination, you can achieve almost anything. So this is the word connected with stopping smoking. Willpower is the answer. And noise pollution, the lives of millions of people living in cities. This is a quite unusual word, but one that can be very useful in the exam. It's also the name of a planet. Mars. Hope you got that one. And we hope you enjoyed that video, and that now, if you get a question in the essay section on cities or where we live, you will be able to answer it. Look at the other videos in this section. They really can help you. And why not have a go at that question using some of the great language that you've learned? We really look forward to seeing you soon, and thank you for watching.